Here we're going to look at basic image adjustment in Photoshop. Things like color, brightness, saturation, things like that. So a good example of why you might want to do this would be to make different parts of your composition blend together better, or just to tweak images to make them sit better in a composition, for example. So here we've got the basic composition I was working on before with a background and a simple truck that I've cut out from a different image. Now what we're going to look at here, we're going to look at the menu part around image and adjustments. Now one thing that you need to be wary of before is that you actually click on the right layer down here in your layers tab, because whichever layer that we have selected here, that's the layer that we're going to be making the adjustments to. So what I'm going to try and do here, I'm going to make some simple adjustments to the truck that I've brought in, just to try and make it sit a little bit better within the background that I've already got. Now it's not going to be perfect, but I'm just going to try and give it a little bit of a tweak to make it sit a bit nicer. So I'll make sure that I've clicked on the truck layer, and then up here I'm going to go to Image and Adjustments. Now there are a few things that we can play with. We're going to look at the levels, the brightness and the contrast, and the color balance. So first of all, I'm going to bring up my color balance palette. Now with preview ticked, we can see that the changes that we make is going to affect the image before we click OK and commit the changes. So first of all, we can start messing around with some of these sliders here, and you can see it just changes the color balance of the image, just to try and make it sit in better with the image that we already have. So I'd like to bring out the yellows a bit more because there's a lot of yellow in my image in the background. Play around with maybe the greens. Now that makes it stand out too much. I'm going to leave that where it is. I'm going to make the image a lot yellower because there's a lot of yellow in the image in the background. Maybe bring the reds up a little bit. So you can see if we untick the preview box, it will go back to our original image. So we can see just with a few adjustments it's sitting in a little bit better already. We'll click OK. Under the adjustments we can also look at the levels. What that's going to do, it's going to change the balance between the light and the darkness in the image. So we can use these different sliders here to either make the image lighter or darker. It's different between a simple brightness and darkness, a simple brightness slider, because it changes different elements of the image and gives different intensities to certain sort of hues in the colour. And again, we can either click our preview to see if it's fitting, if we've made the changes right. I think that looks okay. And the other adjustments that we're going to do is the hue and the saturation. So again, it's another sort of colour balance, but it means that we can sort of move along the different colours of the spectrum here and pick something that's a little bit more suitable for our image. So it's not perfect, but by just adjusting a few of the parameters in terms of the brightness and the contrast and the level of the colours in the truck, we can see that it's made it sit in a little bit better with our background.